All right. So whenever we go live, we always have the awkward pause to make sure that everything is going where it should on Facebook. It looks like it is. I'm going to share this into the Kingdom Reformers community group because I know those guys so enjoyed getting to meet you and
I love them.
at the
Yay.
conference. Yes. So we want to make sure that they don't miss this. But everybody who is tuning on right now, I want you guys to meet my good friend Ruth Keijdener, who is she is the author of The Power of Obedience. She brought me my copy to the Kingdom Reformers Conference just a couple of weeks ago. And she is the founder of Beautiful, Powerful Women, which is a huge organization that reaches into multiple nations. And you've pulled me on a couple of times. I got to meet some of your people and just share some kingdom truths with them. So enjoyed that. And then really the list could go on because you've produced films, you've produced music, you've lived in a bunch of different nations, done a lot of amazing things, run with all the big kingdom generals, and above all of that, you are just like a ball of love. Just love and energy and joy, and it's always good to get to be around you. And I'm super pumped to get to introduce Ruth to all of my audiences today. So Ruth, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Dubb. I think I honor you more. I'm just so blown away of who you are. You're such a father. You're such a lover of souls. You really epitomize, what you explain about the Father's love. And I really, I'm so drawn to you. I mean, your family, and I saw your baby. I love hugging her. Thank you for having me here. And I love Kingdom Reformers. I love you guys. I miss them.
Come on. That's because you are a kingdom reformer and you were doing it way before it had a name, before it had a definition to it. You've been all over the globe, just advancing the heart of God into different spheres of culture, working with the most wealthy, affluent, influential people in government, down to the people that have literally nothing, making sure that they get food. Like, you are a woman of much impact in many different spheres. But I want the people to get to hear from you yourself. Can you just share a little bit of your story, which is available in your book on Amazon, The Power of Obedience? So you guys make sure you grab that as soon as we're done here. But it's always cool to get to hear from the individual a little bit of their story. So go for it.
Well, Dubb, I'm, me, I'm very simple. I'm not into this, hey, I'm here. No, I just, I'm just a lover of Jesus. I love God so much. I know what it is to not have Jesus, right? I know, I never forget the first day that he introduced himself to me. And I was able to go and sleep through the night. I never slept. Like, I would sleep at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because of the fears that I would have every day. The nightmares and all these things that are around me. And so by 16, I was already like, tired. I was tired. And then all of a sudden there's this, I just pray, God, if you really just come to my heart, but I don't know really if that's going to work, Yeah. And then the next day from that prayer, somebody came to our house and he says that, God wants to take care of you. And that's exactly what my prayer was. And so I'm like, okay. So this time I prayed differently. So I said, God, if you will just love me, because I was so insecure, and you're right. I was so insecure. I was Miss Emotional more than Ruth. My first name was Emotional and not Ruth. And so I'm like, okay, God, if you're just going to love me, because I was like really, really in need of life and love, you can send me anywhere.
Wow.
You can do anything with me. I will be yours forever. And as I said, I don't sleep because I see all these demons floating around. I see all these crazy stuff. But that night after I prayed, I slept through. I woke up the next day and I'm like so different. I thought, you know what, God, I'm going to bring you around the world. You can send me. I'm going to tell them about you because I've never had this, that feeling of peace and full restoration. And all of a sudden, I have an identity. Yes, I'm somebody. Oh, everything's falling off. I get very voice. I was told I was ugly. I was told I cannot finish anything. I was told that I am not, you're really not good for nothing. You're clumsy. You're this, you're that, you're that. I was even told that I was a devil's advocate. Now the devil's so scared of me.
That's right.
Hate him so much, it's crazy. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I just, I am so in love with God that I would want to do anything God asked from me.
Yeah.
And so to fast forward, I finished my school. I became a doctor. I'm an optometrist. I finished my school, and then I met my husband in a different country. Oh my, I think IKEA is downstairs. There's nobody in my house. Oh, hallelujah. Anyway, so and so what happened was, I got married after graduating. I spent a year and a half roaming around, and then I got married to my husband, and from then on I was in my home. I wasn't mobile anymore. I would go, in the beginning when I was 18, I would go to places, remotest places, and do some missions. I love the poor so much. I love people. You're right. So I would go and do that. But then when I got married, I would go to a different country with my husband. And from then on, we just go around the world. And my husband used to be in the hotel. So we were really, really blessed, staying in all those beautiful, fancy places. But my heart never changed. My heart still burns for the Lord. My heart burns for the people. My heart, they need to know God. That's my heart. You need to know the love of God. You need to encounter Jesus. That's the best. That's the secret of life. You know that? And so I was like, just like that. And so whoever I'm with or whoever I come across, I would just go and say, Jesus loves you. And by the time I come out of an Uber, or by the time somebody finished massaging me, or somebody, whatever, or my nails even, they know Jesus, because I cannot stop myself. I cannot stop myself because I love God so much, but I also know what it is not to have God.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then, that all of us grow, right? We mature. Yeah. We get into a place where God promotes. We get into a place where you hunger for more because there's more. Yeah. The expanse of God within us is just so much that it's uncontainable. You just have to go and do something more. You were predestined to do something great and do the work of God. There's just something within you that you have to advance.
Yeah.
And so no place could stop me from letting God be known. No place is going to stop me from loving God. It's very hypocritical to say though, Dubb, that it wasn't hard, it was easy. Oh, there are so many things in life that we call life,
Yeah.
But I chose the Lord, and I still choose up to this day. And so God, I believe this, when you're very faithful in small things, God will bring you greater things.
Come on.
When you are not blinded by the names of the world, yeah. God brings you to the names of the world.
Come on.
When I chose not to be blinded by all those. Don't get me wrong. When I first met Bill Jones, I was all shocked. I'm like, I couldn't talk. Because I love this man so much. When I was with Mama Heidi, I'm like, I couldn't pray, but I would rather have Jesus.
Yeah.
I would rather have Jesus than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I remain that way, and I choose it that way. I choose to just be with God, because that's where I belong. That's where I feel safe. That's where I know I get that expanse, and I know that my imagination can go wilder,
Yeah.
How many of us knows that, a lot of the people around you can constrict you and can stop you from doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I come to my place in the Lord, and He just like a dynamite, and He's just gonna open the doors and everybody closes, and He's gonna let you meet the people that I love what you explained about favor. It doesn't matter whether, and it doesn't have to be that everybody likes you or favor you, as long as you have the right one that will favor
That's
you.
the right one
Come
does.
on, bro. We're gonna
So,
talk about that in my channel.
yeah, so you got to talk a little bit about, you've been touching on it here, but you were like the unlimited one, right? Like you're like, I'm gonna go make a movie, I'm gonna produce music, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like there's nothing that is daunting to you. Like when God gives you a dream, puts a dream on your heart, or gives you an assignment, like you're unstoppable. You just go and do it. So what's a key for the people that are listening to shift from, kind of, maybe some people are listening and they have a dream, or they feel like they've heard an assignment, but it seems so big, right? Like producing a multi-million-dollar movie. How did you process through that, and how did you just make it happen?
Mhm. I walk small steps. You know, first and foremost, you really have to know that you really have to trust the Lord, right? Your relationship with God has to be intact first and foremost, so that when you have a certain thing in your heart, you know that it's the dream of God, and you will know that that's a dream of God if it's for the benefit of others.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, and so as soon as I see that all those three components are all there, I'm not afraid to go and dream big, because I love God and I have an intimate relationship with God. I can trust God because He's greater than me. If I see that the dream is bigger than my imagination, that's God for me.
Come
Because
on.
I
Wow.
can't do anything. I can't do anything. I can do nothing. I don't have anything. I don't even have a job. But I have a God, and I have a daddy God, not just a God, but a daddy God who will
Yeah.
walk me through it, who will see me through it, who will provide for me, who will bless me. And He's already at the end.
Yeah.
I just have to go and walk it through. But I think the obstacle, the main part there is that you're really sure that it is God. Because how do you know that? What I do is I try. As soon as I have that desire, I have that thing, and then I can see that there's a sign. Oh, God is asking me to go and do this, because all of a sudden I met somebody from Pixar. Okay, I go there straight away. You step into it and see. And if God closes the door, then that's not it, right? But if it
Yeah.
is, then you didn't miss anything.
So
So
good.
I go for it. I don't hesitate, because what if that's the one, right? So there are also, it's when you know but you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know it, but you don't know how. You know it, but you don't know how to go through it. But I'm gonna do whatever I can in my own limitations, or in the grace and mercy of God. I just go for it and then see how it unveils. It's like, I always believe this. When Moses put their feet in the water, that's when the water parted.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. That's my way of doing things. I hear the Lord. I make sure that it's the Lord. Lord, did I hear you right? Okay. And then it really resonates in my heart, and I got peace and excitement, and then I go for it. It's scary, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's
That's
so
amazing.
scary also, because, like, okay, I don't know anybody. I don't have anything. I mean, I start from literally no one and nothing.
Yeah.
And God would just all to you. But at the same time, Dubb, it has to be the Lord. Why? Because within 2 weeks, you might probably don't want it anymore. Or within 3 days.
Oh, wow. That's a really good
As
point.
soon as you meet somebody, and then that somebody says to you, okay, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure? I don't think you can. Things like that. Oh my gosh. So it has to be an internal agreement with God.
Yeah. Come
It
on.
has to be it has to be a love language that the Lord speaks to your heart, so that no one can thwart it, no one can confuse you, no one. And
Come
you
on.
have to be on your toes, always, aware, just aware. Okay, I cannot be aware all the time, but I am aware that God can make me aware all the time.
Hey, that's super good. Dropping bombs. Come on. We've got
Yeah.
so many people that are tuning in. Hey, Kelly, good to see you, my friend. Penny Boland's fired up. Melody, Jason Ballard, so many good friends from the conference that got to meet you. I know, and then some of your people are tuning in. I love that.
Yeah.
And so For those who are just tuning in, I'm here with Ruth Keijdener, who is the author of The Power of Obedience that is available on Amazon right now. And you are also the founder of Beautiful, Powerful Women. And so tell the people a little bit about that movement so all the ladies that are tuning in right now can get some of that goodness in their lives.
Whoa, I have 3 pies that why Beautiful, Powerful Women has been created. Of course, first and foremost, I wanted people, not just women. It's Beautiful, Powerful Women because it's spearheaded by women. It's not just for women, it's for everybody. Our hearts are for the people of the Lord.
Come on.
But of course, to encourage, to empower, to strengthen, to be the voice, to be the kingdom promoter, to be, to encourage the people for transformation, to change the world, basically for the better, bring heaven to earth. That's the main thing. But God gave me 3 pies. I want to make sure that, sooner or later, when we have all these partners that are listening right now, we have these 3 pie. The first part of the pie is feeding programs, livelihood programs, and water provisions for all the third world countries that are really dying of hunger. So we reform cities and nations. Number 2, we have this anti-human trafficking and anti-prostitution for young children, bring them to shelter, give them education. That's number 2. And the third one is media. Of course, right? Even 2-year-old babies can actually flip that thing very nicely.
That's true.
And so I feel like the visual effects that the enemy has taken, I want my space in there to make sure that the people that can watch, whoever we are, whoever's going to watch the film that we produce, or even the podcast that we are doing, at least we take back the space that the enemy is taking away, and trying to go and give the truth to the people, and that truth is going to set them free and change the way they live.
Come on. And so what's next for you? What's the next big dream that you've got that you're advancing right now?
Are you really asking me? I'm going to tell the world now. Well, I feel like the Lord is, because I just arrived in America like 5 months ago, right?
Yeah.
We just finished the first project that I had, and that was the Global Women Gathering. So that was perfect. And then the second one that we're doing right now is the Am I a Prophet? Like, just journeying with some people personally, because I want them to be like a flock only, like, okay, guys, this is how we walk. But if they want, more thorough ones, they have to go to you. Okay. So I'm doing that. Am I a Prophet right now, which is really fun. But I feel like God is telling me to create a film. I'm very excited because I don't know anything about film here in America, but I'm going to go there. And so I feel like, for the millennials, the young and the old, I feel like, I wanted to create a film that would just basically change the language in their thinking. And it's going to be with Brian. Yeah, it's going to be with Brian Orm. I'm excited with that too. But at the same time, I feel like God is going to establish some broadcasting or TV network or a movie network or something like that. And that's in the horizon. But then now I want the kingdom reformers, I want business to be touched and to be reached as well. So also I really am very excited with just establishing the ministry here, so that we can from here go abroad and be a help to everybody that I left behind when I came to America.
Yeah. No doubt.
Oh yeah.
So if you were going to share with people like the top 3 core values of Ruth, what are the top 3 core values that you've lived your life by?
Love God, number 1. Be in love with God. Just know that He is your source. When you know that you have a source, you don't need to try too hard. Because then you're not going to be a slave.
Yeah, come on.
Because you'll be a slave every time you want to do this, you have to do that, you must do it. No, You have a source, you have a God, you have a master, you have a king, you have a daddy who will lead you and be with you the entire time. That's number one.
So good.
Yeah. Everything that we do, I do it because God wants me to do it, and that's a love for others. It, my fear is smaller than my obedience. I feel like when you love God so much, you obey God. Period. Why do you obey God? There are things that God has put in our hearts and our minds and our souls and our bodies and our spirits that has to go out.
Yeah.
You have to, you're a piece in the puzzle. You're somebody that's not me. Your audience is not me. Your sphere of influence is not mine. So all of us have been given. I'll just read to you the scripture. It says here in Philippians 2:13, God is working in you, giving you the desire to obey him and the power to do what pleases him.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, but because of the love that I have for Jesus, I don't mind. I just want to go and obey him. I feel like God is going to speak to you all the time anyway. So just be really yielded, and then see what assignment he has for you. Because life, the adventures of life is in the assignment that God gives. It's exciting. Yeah, and I feel like the third thing is just basically, do not be, just walk one day at a time, but dream bigger than your imagination.
Dang, come on, that's fire.
Yeah.
So I could hear people like asking the question as you were going through that. How do you know what your assignment is? So could you perhaps share with people, like, how is it that God communicates with you and reveals to you the assignment or the thing that he's calling you to do? Because all of us have different ways of
Yeah.
receiving communication from his heart. What is the process for you?
Well, I look at the things that I like,
Come on.
or God. It's either the things that I like or the things that I see that is a need.
Mm.
For example, I wanted to go be in the movies because my family is movie freaks. And I don't like the movies they watch. So I'm like, okay, God, if this is actually something that you want me to do, then, I'm open to it. And God has his own timing, of course, right? I didn't just go, whoa, I'll do that. No, there was a time in my life when I felt like, okay, this is the right time for me to do this. I heard God with that, even from the past, and then it made alive at the right time. So that's number one. Number two is when I see the need, for example, also when it comes to people's relationship, when it comes to, I just have these, like, for example, when what happens to COVID, I felt like, the business people, I feel so bad for them. And I have that compassion. It has to be compelled by love and compassion. If you don't have that, and if it's not for others, it won't work. I feel like anything that we do that is birthed out of self-centeredness and selfishness won't work.
Yeah.
But of course, you don't have that in you because, unless you have Jesus, then the love of God is really going to compel you to do something.
Come on.
Yeah. So my process is just basically every day I would just say, okay, what's the need, God? Okay, what do you want us to go and do? And all of a sudden I have this, oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, okay, okay, God, I'll do that. Just like the global women's gathering that I did. God told me gather all the ministers together and then invite all the women around the world, and then we ministered to, there were 50 women from around the world, like literally Kuwait, Chile, Indonesia, India, all over the world. There are 50 of them, and they spoke life. I said to them, if you are not going to love on the one, um, because you're so big already in your ministry, then you're not my tribe. Because you have to learn how to love the one in front of you, or just love one,
Yeah.
so that God can entrust you to love the world.
Come on.
And so what happened was, in one gathering, there were 50 ministers ministering to the world, but one on one or one on two people. And they come out and they will multiply. That's the thing now. You always have to multiply. Just like what the kingdom reformers does is like, you get transformed in your mind and you became the reformer. And because you're the reformer, you reform others. It's just like a multiplication of, the Lord. It's just, everybody, I cannot be stopped. I have to multiply.
Come on.
It's just exciting. And as I said, I don't want to, put aside that it's not hard, guys. The Lord says there's tribulation, but hey, God overcome the world. Come on.
Right.
We are overcomers. We are overcomers. And why I wrote the book, I'm glad you asked.
This book right here. Ruth, why did you write this book?
Honestly, I just felt like there are so many facets in life, and we all have our own story that can at least encourage or empower or change somebody else's.
Come on.
And so, honestly, I had a transition on this one. I mean, because it's an exposure of who I am and what I've gone through. And it's a big thing. It's a big thing because everybody's like, oh, leave me with my space, or, I don't want you to know who I am, or, I want my privacy, or, things like that. But with this book, God wanted me to be all out. I'm like, okay. It was hard. It was a hard decision because vulnerability is fighting shame.
Come on. That's fire. Yeah.
It's fighting shame. And so I feel like, you have a story to tell. Let the people know so that they can also understand that they're not alone in their journey. And with that journey, because you have overcome that journey, you can give them also the key to the journey that you've gone through.
Come on. That's so super well said. I love
Thank
that.
You. That's Jesus.
Hey, that'll work.
Yeah, that'll work.
We've got to give a shout out to Cindy Hatcher, who is the one who connected you and I.
True that.
Prophet down in New Braunfels. We love you, Cindy. So
love you, Cindy.
Yeah, come on. Jacqueline was catching what you were putting down. Yeah, what are you drawn to? What makes you happy? And then what need do you see? Both of those. I love the tension between those two things, that God uses both of those to draw us to purpose. What your passion points to purpose, and the needs that frustrate you point to purpose, because you carry the solutions to those. And you've been such an example of what it looks like to just go for it and to grab a hold of things and create real change. I super love that about you. And I love the background you've got going on right now with the world, because if I know anybody that loves the globe, loves the world, it's you, Ruth. And so what do you feel like God is releasing to the world right now? I feel like he releases individual revelations to peoples and tribes and groups and movements. But what do you feel like God just would say to the world right now?
I from the beginning of COVID in February, I was telling them I felt like there was a reset of everything, right? It's a reset. It's when your computer doesn't work, it's a reboot.
Yeah.
There's a reboot, like, okay, everything is gone. I'm like, everything that you put your dependence to is gone. Everything that you have put, except the steadfastness of the Lord.
Yeah.
But I felt so strongly that we have to rise up. Those that really loves God have to rise up. There is something within us that is needed in the world, so that we will be able to go and create the change. You see, you don't want to go back to the same thing. You want the new thing. And so I feel like the new thing is within us. And so that's what I'm asking the Lord all the time. God, what's a new thing? What's a new thing within us, And then I was so excited because all of a sudden I heard you talk. And then, and then I went to, and I felt like God was asking me to go to Texas. I'm like, okay, this is it. That's the voice that I wanted. Like, honestly, because I'm thinking, why go back to the past? God is already changing it. And so I feel like, we are the change. I mean, when you have Jesus, you got transformed. It's completely different. You're a completely different person.
Come on.
And so, that completely different person has to go into a completely different environment. And so how are we going to do that? I always say, you stop telling me what you see. declare and decree what it is that is not there, because you have the power. God has given us the gift to do that.
Yeah.
God has given us the dominion, right? God has given us the power to get things organized and get it better.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like we all have to just embrace who we are and see what it is that God has created you, and see what it is that you're good at, and don't compare yourself to anyone, and just see, Lord, what is my shoe size, what fits me.
I like
What,
that.
yeah, what fits me. I mean, it's nice to be stirred up by all of us. I love being stirred up by you guys, but who am I? What is it that I am going to contribute to the world? Because you have a purpose why you were built, why you were born. I mean, not built. Why you were born. There's only one you. There's
Yeah.
only one you. And so we want that you. And also I feel like we ought to, this is the time where we rejoice with each other and we don't compete.
Yeah.
Enough.
Come on.
Enough of that. Oh, okay, you guys are good at this, I'm gonna go and bring you in and let the world know this is what they are good at. So you guys, if you need this, you go there. Right?
Yeah.
If you need that, you go to Cindy. If you need this, you go to this. I mean, we cannot be for everybody. We can be, but we are a body.
Yeah.
Everybody has to function right. So I mean, I feel like, and at the same time, of course, love never changed. You know me.
Sure.
I'd rather hug you and talk than talk. So love is always going to be the one to change it, because love brings honor, love brings respect, love brings, love brings humility in your heart. Love just changes everything.
Come on.
And of course, you have to make sure that the love of God is always pure in your heart. You have to go and walk in forgiveness. You always have to have, you have to overcome the ability to not be offended. I love that.
Yeah.
All these, because emotion's still there. Battle in the mind still there. Okay, let's not deny that. But we choose Jesus. He
Sure.
is and will always be the ultimate.
That's true. I felt some fire on that forgiveness piece. I feel like you've got some wisdom to give people in the realm of how do you live a lifestyle of forgiveness?
I remember how God forgives me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I first and foremost, I don't want to be tainted with how I look at God. And I feel like if my heart is pained or angered or bitter, I will not have that purity that I hear from God when my heart is actually clean.
Mm.
And your heart will not be clean if you don't forgive. Sorry, that's just the way it is. It's reality, it's the truth. It's a Bible truth. So I mean, and right, if you have unforgiveness in your heart, you will never feel right.
Yeah.
Never. You will always feel this or you press it down, but it's going to come out later.
Yeah. That's so
So
true.
I want to make sure, yeah. So I choose, even if I don't want to sometimes,
Yeah.
I choose to forgive. I choose. I declare it. I speak it. I choose it. I put it in my brain. And if still doesn't work, I still choose. And then
Wow.
God, but within that choice, God is, trying to go and get it all right for you, because our choices really makes it all worth. God honors our choices, I think, more than, because when we choose first, our system follows. So
Yeah.
I choose to be transformed, so therefore you will be transformed. Yeah, you decide. When you decide that I want this, then so that's for me. When it's very first, you want the most vulnerable, usual me. Somebody, I'll tell you a story. Do you have time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So we had this diplomat. We had this diplomat dinner. It's a farewell of somebody working, and everybody was having dinner and all that, and somebody that was on top of me is the one that was leaving. So they were talking and talking and talking beside me, and me and another person beside me were chatting. It was like, oh yeah, we were like trying to go and say, oh yeah, of course. And then what he did was he bam on my head. He shut up, Ruth. He said that to me,
Oh my gosh.
and my husband wasn't there. And I'm like, And then he did it again. I'm like, and everybody, we're in a diplomat here, right?
Oh my
Everybody
God.
was like looking like that. I'm like, and I'm thinking, and then the second time he did that, I said, stop it.
Yeah.
I also know my authority, right? I
Come on.
said, so after that, the dinner was done. I felt this small, and I'm already small, but I felt smaller. And then I went in my room quickly, in my door, in my prayer room. I knelt down and I sobbed. I said, God, I feel so embarrassed and I hate what he did. I mean, and I used the word hate. Hate for me is big because it's the opposite of love. But at that time, I felt so angered. Like, God, I hated what he has done. I don't like him. This is what I said. I don't like him, Lord. I don't like him right now. He embarrassed me. I didn't like what he did. Da, 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 da. And then right in the middle of that prayer, but I choose to forgive him.
Come on.
Because I know that it's not flesh and blood, you see. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that the enemy hears me right, and you're not going to toy me around. And
Wow.
so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna choose to forgive, Lord. I choose to forgive, and I cut anything that is, that was done to me. Nobody's gonna be able to go and say anything. Now, of course, in a natural, you felt embarrassed. You don't want to go there anymore. You don't want to be seen by anybody and all that. But believe me, everyone, every time you choose and you come to the Lord and you give it to God, he will take it from you and exchange it with peace. He will take it. If you give it to the Lord, he will exchange it with love. If you give it to the Lord, he will exchange it for joy. He will take it from you and he will exchange it for wisdom. He will exchange it with reward. Okay. So by the next day, God, I got invited again for a lunch. I didn't know this guy was coming.
Oh, wow.
Almost half of the people that came in there, right? I didn't know that he was coming. So we were okay. We were okay. Nobody's talking because these are, my other friends that, didn't believe the same way. So by the time this guy came, I didn't have any more problems. I gave it to the Lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
hi, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then the people there, though, was asking me, Ruth, how do you do it?
Wow.
I said, I couldn't. I have to give it to the Lord, and he will have to change my heart. Because if you're just going to ask me, I don't want to, and I cannot.
Yeah.
I didn't deserve what he did. I don't think so.
Right.
Anybody wouldn't deserve that. But
No.
that happened. And so the thing was, because of that, you see, every obedience we do, there's an effect.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, these people are like, wow, there must be God, really. Because if that happened to me, forget it. You know
Right.
me?
Yeah.
So I feel like, but the thing is also, Doug, when our eyes are on Jesus all the time, the things around, I wasn't even thinking, okay, these people are gonna see me, these people, I don't, that's performance. I don't perform. I don't like that. I want to be me. But God does it. He prepared a feast before me in the presence of my enemy. Whatever it is that they see because of God. I don't do anything.
Wow.
But
So
they
true.
see it. They see it every time. Every time you do something that is an act of obedience, or choosing to be right with God, choosing the holiness and righteousness of God, choosing the love of God. That's the most important. Choosing the love of God. Because what is the difference between you and the world if you just love those that likes you?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
So forgiveness really is not, you don't want your eyes be tainted because you're going to go and see, because you're always going to have this feeling of, and
Yeah.
then, you're just heavy. You don't want that. But
Yeah.
okay, sometimes it takes 3 days, sometimes it takes one day, sometimes it takes 7 days, sometimes,
So true.
depends on you. It's like,
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, Ruth, one of the things I love about you is that even though you've lived all over the world, you've interacted with so many different people, you've accomplished so many things that are authentically impactful for the kingdom. And yet every conversation I have with you, you do such a great job of reminding everyone about, don't forget to love Jesus
Yeah.
in the process. No matter how big you get, no matter what exploits you're doing for the kingdom, don't forget the simplicity of a relationship of love with Jesus. And that's so refreshing. It's good for me because I can get super focused on advancing the kingdom and forget about the king sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so I
yeah.
really value that gift that you bring to me and to everybody who gets to hear you. So any last words for the people while you're stewing on that question? You guys go and get The Power of Obedience by Ruth Keijdener. It's available on Amazon, and you guys are going to be able to find her through my Facebook. Follow her, follow Beautiful, Powerful Women as well. She's always dropping amazing interviews on there and kingdom truths. And so she's a true gift to the kingdom, to the body of Christ. So what would you like to leave the people with, Ruth?
That you're never alone, that the source that you have will never run dry.
Come on.
And that even if you feel like sometimes, oh, how come everybody's okay and I'm not? That's a lie. Because there are, everybody has their own process, everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own, even the people that you look up to, they all have to choose every day.
Yeah.
We all have to. And there are times when I feel like, oh God, why am I alone right now? And God's gonna go and bring in somebody. Or why am I alone right now? Oh, Heidi Baker's gonna call. Or why am I like, God will always give you kisses from heaven to encourage you and to let you know that He hasn't left, He hasn't changed, and He will always be there. Just be a child. I love being a baby. I am a baby and I will never grow old. I don't have to apologize to anybody on that one. I will remain a child to the Lord because I need to see Him as my daddy.
Yeah.
No, you know why I don't go up so big on my head? Because I know who I am without God. I can never do things. I don't even know how to account things, let alone create a film. And so at the same time, God will bring you the right people at the right time and give you the right promises in the word at the right time. And God's going to encourage you to go, come closer, go higher, and be the best of who you are. And so, I always tell my kids as well, you know what? When you're good, when you're bad, when you're ugly, and when you're mad, you just go to Jesus. Because He is the author and the finisher of everything that you are.
Come on.
But the thing is, He is so in love with us that He's always so excited to bless us. I don't know about you, Dubb, but I love to give gifts. But
Yeah.
God is just even more. So He's so excited. There's so many gifts for this day, but are we actually aware that He has given us a gift? He woke you up.
Yeah.
There's so many gifts, but we forget to look. We forget to think. We forget. And don't get me wrong. Every time I preach to myself. Yes.
Same.
Yeah. But, I want to honor you, Dubb, for, just this time. But at the same time, I want to honor you for what you carry. And you know how I appreciate you so much. You're like my own brother already, even in such a short time. We've got such an amazing relationship right now in your family. I bless them, and we bless the Kingdom Reformers and all you guys out there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
There we go. Well, thanks for coming on, Ruth. I'm so glad that all my people got to meet you. And so you guys get all things Ruth. It's all good. And we will see y'all soon.
Yep. See you soon. Love you.